Tony Khan has publicly mocked Vince McMahon, and AEW stars are considering a jump to WWE. But first, WWE has just changed forever as Vince McMahon has retired from the company. In perhaps what is the biggest news story of our lifetime in wrestling, WWE's head honcho has stepped away from all duties. The former chairman and CEO of the company would release a statement via WWE's corporate website, which would read, "As I approach 77 years old, I feel it's time for me to retire as chairman and CEO of WWE. Throughout the years, it's been a privilege to help WWE bring you joy, inspire you, thrill you, surprise you, and always entertain you. I would like to thank my family for mightily contributing to our success, and I would also like to thank all of our past and present superstars and employees for their dedication and passion for our brand. Most importantly, I would like to thank our fans for allowing us into your homes every week and being your choice of entertainment. I hold the deepest appreciation and admiration for our generation of fans all over the world who have liked and sometimes even love our form of sports entertainment. Our global audience can take comfort in knowing WWE will continue to entertain you with the same fervor, dedication, and passion as always. I'm extremely confident in the continued success of WWE, and I leave our company in the capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives, particularly both chairwoman and co-CEO Stephanie McMahon and co-CEO Nick Khan. As the majority shareholder, I will continue to support WWE in any way I can. My personal thanks to our community and business partners, shareholders, and board of directors for their guidance and support through the years, then, now, forever, together." It can't be stressed enough how big this news is, with WWE's future now in the hands of somebody that isn't Vincent Kennedy McMahon for the first time since June 6, 1982, the day that he purchased the then WWF from his father Vincent James McMahon. The news follows a number of allegations, of which we won't cover the specifics of in this video, although we have discussed multiple times in the past. It's worth saying that this decision does feel like it's related to the recent goings-on, which perhaps forced Vince's hands in his decision, with him jumping before being ultimately pushed. Either way, the future of World Wrestling Entertainment will now be guided by both Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan, who likely decided to appoint Triple H as head of talent relations, which was news that broke yesterday. Fightful Select have provided some more information over the story, with it being reported that there was an all-hands-on-deck meeting at 5 PM Eastern yesterday, followed by a mass message sent to individuals in the company over the move. One WWE superstar has since contacted Fightful, telling them that they'll believe it once shows come and go and he's no longer involved. Another would tell of their surprise at the decision, with them feeling that he'd be around until he died, something I think we all expected. It's important to note that Vince hasn't retained his role as head of creative, a role he has continued to take up whilst he stepped back from his more senior roles amid investigations of the recent allegations, and this time he's no longer in charge of WWE's on-screen roles. Whether this leads to a drastic shift in on-screen presentation remains to be seen, with there being no indication who takes over the role. It was noted by Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer that former WWE champion Brock Lesnar, who was at the arena ahead of SmackDown last night, left the building and was said to be very pissed off, a story that was backed up by the Fightful report. According to Alvarez, Brock Lesnar would say, "If he's gone, I'm gone." With that said, things would cool down before Lesnar returned to the scene of last night's episode, appearing in a segment where he would take out Mr. Money in the Bank, Austin Theory. This is certainly going to be an interesting story to follow, with Vince McMahon often being touted as the reason many fans have walked away from WWE in the past. And now that he's out of the picture, things could be about to get very interesting indeed. But what do you make of the news? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, more matches have been announced for tonight's Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view. Tonight, Ring of Honor hosts the second pay-per-view of the Tony Khan era, when Death Before Dishonor airs live from Lowell, Massachusetts. Until now, 5 matches have been announced, all for ROH Gold, but now 6 more bouts have been added to the card, just hours away from the show. For the pre-show, Allysin Kay will battle Willow Nightingale, Colt Cabana will take on Anthony Henry, Cheeseburger and Eli Isom will go against the Trustbusters Ari Daivari Ray and Slim J, which is Parker Boudreaux's new stable, and Tully Blanchard Enterprises will take part in a 6-man tag match going up against the babyface team of Alex Zane, Blake Christian, and Tony Deppen. As for the main show, 2 matches have been added, with the Righteouses Vincent, Bateman, and Dutch defending their ROH World 6-man Tag Team Championships against Dalton Castle and the Boys. There will also be brother versus brother action as Rush fights Dragon Lee, with 2 of the best luchadors in the world going head to head. This is in addition to the stacked title matches that were already announced, which includes FTR versus the Briscoes 2 for the World Tag Team belts in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Mercedes Martinez puts her women's title on the line against the technician Serena Deeb, whilst Wheeler Yuta defends his ROH Pure title against fellow rising star Daniel Garcia. Samoa Joe then wrestles his first Ring of Honor match since his return, with Jay Lethal challenging for Joe's ROH Television Championship. This is topped off by the main event for the ROH World Championship, where Claudio Castagnoli is attempting to dethrone champion Jonathan Gresham to win his first ever major world title. But what are your predictions for Death Before Dishonor? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, WWE have cancelled a recently debuted gimmick. The former LA Knight has appeared under the name of Max Dupree, with him introducing his Maximum Male Models faction to the world. Well, according to PW Torch, Dupree has now been removed from television, with him said to have rubbed people the wrong way, before then head of creative Vince McMahon chose to go in another direction. Max Dupree was absent from last night's SmackDown tapings, with him now being replaced by his storyline sister Maxine Dupree, who is played by NXT's Sophia Cromwell. She would make her debut in a backstage segment announcing that her crew of Maximum Male Models would be showing off their 2022 beachwear collection next week, with her brother being nowhere to be seen. It's also worth noting that Dupree was well aware that he was out when he worked last week's show, where he would announce that Maxine will be showing up last night. What this means for Max Dupree or LA Knight remains to be seen, but it seems that his days are numbered on the WWE main roster. Next up, we have an injury update on an AEW star. On the July 13th edition of AEW Dynamite, Matt Jackson, one half of the Young Bucks, would suffer an injury during the team's match with Swerve in Our Glory, where they would drop their AEW World Tag Team titles. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Matt is said to be doing a lot better, with him said to have suffered from a bad whiplash. With that said, there has been no loss of strength or mobility, and his range of motion has returned to normal. The AEW EVP would pass a strength test, with there being no concerns that his injury is major. He is still feeling sore, and Matt is expected to miss television for a few weeks, but it isn't as bad as it could have been. According to last week's Observer newsletter, the aim of putting the gold on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland was to elevate the team, establishing a top 5 hierarchy in the tag teams of the company, alongside the Young Bucks, FTR, the Lucha Brothers, and Team Taz's Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, who were also in the match. Next up, Tony Khan has publicly mocked Vince McMahon. Following the bombshell announcement coming out of WWE last night, which revealed Vince McMahon was retiring, AEW President Tony Khan was quick to take to Twitter to take a shot at the competition, declaring that he is now the longest tenured CEO in wrestling, and Khan would tweet, "Thanks to you wrestling fans and your great support of AEW, I'm grateful to now be the longest tenured CEO in pro wrestling. Thank you very much to every single person who watches AEW. See you for Friday night AEW Rampage on TNT. Harvey Dent is dead. The Joker took the best of us and tore him down. Now Batman's taking the rap to cover Harvey's legacy, which means that it's now time for Friday night AEW Rampage on TNT. Thank you to everyone watching AEW tonight." Whilst Khan is technically the longest running CEO in wrestling, the longest reigning owner of a professional wrestling company is Maricela Penaroldan of Lucha Libre AAA, who has been president since 2016. But what do you make of Tony Khan's shots at Vince McMahon? Let me know in the comments down below. And finally, AEW stars are considering a jump to WWE. Vince McMahon is now out of the picture, with Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H taking up significant roles in WWE, and it looks like this new power structure could lead to some changes in the company, with ex-talent who had issues with creative or the way Vince McMahon handled business potentially looking at WWE as an option again. In a report from Wade Keller of PW Torch VIP, it's noted that he had communication with a number of AEW wrestlers following the news of Vince's retirement, with some who have AEW deals expiring this year or are not happy with Tony Khan's booking, seeing Vince's departure as nothing but a positive. Keller added that wrestlers who didn't see WWE as an option due to Vince McMahon running the company are now seeing things differently, with people previously not considered as Vince-type guys seeing this as a road in. It's worth noting that a number of former WWE or NXT guys that Vince wasn't a fan of ended up in AEW, with even guys once seen as stars by Triple H failing to gain momentum on the main roster. Much like WWE, there's only so much television time in AEW, with the roster currently filled to the brim, meaning we could see movements towards Stamford in the coming months and years. Perhaps we could even see some current free agents head back. And before you go, make sure you check out every All In wrestler that didn't sign for AEW.